So, hi guys, welcome to the MMA UK BJJ show. So, today we're back on BJJ. So, obviously, my next guest, we're going to be talking about his journey. Obviously, he's had quite a long journey so far for being so young. So, we're going to hear a bit about his journey, hear a bit about his competition experience because he's got a wealth of competition experience, as we're going to hear over the next little bit of time. So, obviously, me, Stoomboy, as always. So, today, my guest then, Alex Williams. So, Alex comes out of SBG South Shields under Cage Warriors, ex-Cage Warriors champion, Alex Enland. So we're going to be hear a bit about his training and stuff like that under Alex as well. So, Alex, absolute pleasure to have you on, buddy. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Glad to be here. Glad to be on.
Good. Yeah. And you're at college now as well?
Yeah, first 2 weeks in, so.
Right. What is it you're doing at college?
Studying maths, accounting, and economics.
Nice. What about the college? Does it affect your training at all? Are you still able to get training and so on?
There's a lot of homework, so I have to try and do that through the day when I'm at college. Other than that, it's fine.
Nice. So, maths and accountancy. That's a lot of numbers, Alex.
Right. Yeah.
Nice. And then obviously you're 16-year-old at the moment. So I mean, how long have you been in martial arts for?
About 8 years.
Right. Yeah.
Around then.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in for 8 years as well. I look at me, I'm old. I look old. You look young. So, but yeah, 8 years a long time. I mean, and you've done a good bit in your 8 years so far.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, I mean, you've competed all over. I mean, the kind of big thing, especially jiu-jitsu, I mean, 4-time world champion, Pan Am champion. So, I mean, how was that, obviously, going out there and obviously competing over there?
It was amazing. It's probably the best experience I hold to this day. Like, just flying the flag for England and, being able to bring home the gold was special.
Yeah. And the first time you won, how old were you when the first time you won the Worlds?
About 11 or 12.
Yeah. So see, because obviously the last one, how old were you the last time you won the Worlds?
I think 14, 15, 14.
Yeah. So obviously winning it, at 11, 12-year-old, I mean, did it sink in at the time, the kind of what you'd done? Because obviously winning the Worlds, I mean, at any age is unbelievable. So did it sink in for you when that did happen?
At first, it took a while to sink in because at that point, not everyone knew what jiu-jitsu was. It was still coming up, and not everyone knew what it was. But as time went on, it's bigger than it first was.
Yeah. And then obviously the last time you won it, obviously you're a little bit older, it's 14, 15. So it would have probably sunk in more at that point then, the kind of things that you're doing. So, and obviously you'd won it, that would have been the 4th time you'd won it. So, I mean, how was it? I mean, obviously every time you win it, it's going to be a good feeling. But I mean, how was it when you won the 4th one?
It was just as good as the first time. The feeling of winning never gets old. It's best feeling.
Definitely. And then, as I mentioned, you train at SBG South Shields, obviously under Alex Enland. Alex, a character.
Yeah, he's quite the character.
Yeah. I mean, we know him. Well, I don't personally know him, but obviously some of the guys, obviously MMA UK, know him, obviously through Cage Warriors and stuff like that, and always had good words. When I mentioned I was going to be talking to you, they mentioned, "Oh yeah, he trains under Alex Enland." So, so they're all telling me about Alex, and I managed to get a chat with him this morning as well. So, absolute fantastic guy.
Yeah, great trainer as well. Puts through your paces.
Yes. And what about obviously training under Alex then? So, I mean, what's it like for you? I mean, to have somebody with Alex's knowledge, not just obviously in jiu-jitsu, but obviously MMA and stuff like that as well. To have somebody like that in your corner, kind of pushing you in the right direction, so to say.
I think it's something very valuable to have, and it's like it's not something you find every day or like just round the corner. That's why we travel
Yeah.
to South Shields like 5 nights a week, because there's very few coaches in the world that are Alex's standard.
Yeah, yeah. But such a nice guy. He's a great resume Alex has as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah,
a fantastic resume. So and again, I know I speak to kind of different MMA fighters or jiu-jitsu people, and everybody says the same thing, having someone with that amount of knowledge in their corner, giving them tips and advice and stuff, not just technique advice, but obviously a kind of advice for maybe outside and things like that as well.
yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And then you trained under the late Martin Ashton,
Yeah.
absolute legend in the game as well. So anybody knew who Martin was.
Yeah.
And again, what was obviously your relationship like with Martin?
Yeah, to be honest, he was like my second dad. Spent millions of hours in the garage drilling techniques to go and win the world championships. So just a garage in Martin all the way to California. It was quite surreal. So
Yeah. Nah, he was a cool guy, Martin. As I said,
yeah,
definitely a cool guy. And again, anybody that talks about Martin, they always have good words to say about him. You never ever hear anybody saying a bad word about Martin at all. So
wise man.
yeah, definitely a legend. I was definitely missed. So and then for you, I mean, what was the kind of main thing for you then to when you first started getting into whether it be jiu-jitsu or martial arts in general?
So originally, the first time I wanted to do martial arts was karate. I watched Karate Kid and I was like, "Oh, Dad, I want to do that." So I went to karate for like a year, and it was boring for like a young 7-year-old. So
Yeah.
me and a group of friends from school, we found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we went there as a group of friends, and it was just like a hobby, social activity at first. But then I sort of stuck at it, and then it just stemmed from there. So
Let me ask, Karate Kid, was it the old Karate Kid or the new Karate Kid?
unfortunately, it was the new one. I haven't
Ah,
come across the old ones yet.
yeah. The old one was legendary. As I said, it was absolutely legendary. I did watch the new one, but the new one is for this generation, obviously your
Yeah,
generation and things like that. So, but the old one was absolutely legendary. Some cheesy karate was in the old film.
yeah.
So, so, but definitely probably wouldn't work at all anywhere else other than back in the day. So, did you get to watch Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought that was good. It was good to see how it linked back and stuff.
Yeah. So, and then I mean, what kind of things do you get from martial arts or jiu-jitsu or any kind of martial arts you do? So, what are the kind of main things that you get from it?
I think it develops you as a character. It trains you to be disciplined in everything you do, and like if you want to do something, do it. Put 100% in it. There's no point doing it half-hearted. Because if you get in the cage half-hearted, you're gonna get hurt. But not only on the mat, you have to represent your team, and you have to represent yourself most of all. Because fighting, it's down to you. Everything's down to you.
Yeah. And what kind of pressures do you put on yourself? Because I know that when I talk to people, as I said, a lot of the times your team, whenever you go and you know yourself, whenever you go and represent the team, your team's always 100% behind you, win or lose. It makes no difference. Your team's obviously they love you either way. They're always going to be there to support you. So, what kind of pressures do you put on yourself when you go out?
I just think I have to win this. This is an opportunity to do something great, and I have to win this. And obviously, there's times where things don't go your way, where it's just about dusting yourself up, getting back up, and learning where you went wrong, so you can win the next one.
Yeah. And I'd say you've had a fantastic career so far. I mean, as they've been so young, and then I know I was talking to Alex this morning, and he was saying that one of your kind of big goals is the UFC.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. And when did you decide then the UFC was what you wanted to do? That was the level that you wanted to compete at?
So I'd always wanted to be the world champion at jiu-jitsu as a kid. And so once I accomplished that, I wanted more. I wanted more. So Martin took us up to SBG for the first time. And I tried MMA about 4 years into like my fighting. Tried MMA, and since I accomplished world champion in jiu-jitsu, I wanted to do that also in MMA, which I have to do through the UFC. So just try and get to be the best in the world at UFC as well.
Yeah. So you were quite young then, really young, when you decided that was your goal. That was what you wanted to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because my daughter's 13 at the moment. We asked her what she wants to do, and she's got absolutely no idea. So no idea whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I know she does her dancing and stuff like that, but I always say to her, come and do some jiu-jitsu with me. Nah, I'm not interested. So one day we'll get her in. One day we'll definitely get her in. So so obviously you've been quite young then. So you had a vision, you had a goal. I mean, you mentioned about jiu-jitsu as well. I mean, when you were doing karate and you and your friends actually, you would have been about 8, 9-year-old. So you went and looked for jiu-jitsu yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously we talked about the MMA as well. So you went and you won a silver medal as well. So you were ranked number 2 in the world, obviously at the World Championships for martial arts. Again, how was that feeling for you?
That was it was a totally different experience to jiu-jitsu. It was because it was the first time I'd fought internationally in MMA, and it was more of a tournament style rather than like on a show.
Yeah.
So it was a good experience, very good experience.
Yeah. And what's when you go in, because obviously you've got the jiu-jitsu background, that's your kind of base. But I mean, when you go into an MMA fight, what kind of game do you bring? So you prefer a ground game, or are you just happy to, wherever the fight goes?
Just happy to be there, happy to be in the cage, happy to have a challenge. But I like grappling, so I do like going to the ground. But I have been working on my striking too, so hopefully be an all-rounded UFC fighter.
Yeah, definitely. And then you've got a fight coming up.
Yeah, the 26th September.
Yep. And where's that? Where are you going to be?
It's in Huntley Spring, Rainton Meadows Arena.
Right. And so what is this going to be for? What organisation?
It's this is Olympus or something, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And it's a amateur air fight, air class fight. So.
Right. And how are you? You're obviously been training and stuff like that for it. So, how's the training camp going? Do you need to cut weight or anything for the fight, or are you just happy to go in at whatever weight you are?
Yeah. So the fight's at 70 kilos. I was walking around about 75, so I've had to cut down a bit. But my training camp's going very well. Yeah, hard training,
Definitely.
Smart training as well.
Yeah. So obviously you got training, you got college as well. So I mean, what happens when you obviously you'll be going to college, hopefully getting obviously everything done and dusted with college. Are you going to have obviously accountancy? Is that going to be on the back burner for obviously when fighting does stop? You're going to have something you're able to go back on.
Yeah, it's more my academic side's more of my backup plan to fall back on. Worst case scenario, I get injured. So.
Yeah, definitely. And then we talked about your dad. Your dad is like a taxi driver for yourself.
Yeah, I think we do about 50,000 miles a year up and down to SBG.
Wow. So how many times did he have to change his car? How many years does he change the car?
We're actually stuck with the BMW. It's been around for ages. It just keeps going and going. It's on about just under 200,000 miles, I think, on the clock. So
right.
It just keeps going. It has
well, that's one thing you can do when you make it big. You can buy your dad a car.
Yeah. You want the Rolex as well.
Definitely. So, and then, I mean, if there's one thing for you, obviously you being young, obviously coming up through obviously kids jiu-jitsu, kids MMA and stuff, coming through MMA, if there was one thing that you can change for kids jiu-jitsu, what would be the thing that you would want to change?
How political it is. So when you go to a competition, there's loads of adults shouting at kids, do this, do that. And I just think you should let them enjoy it.
Yeah.
Especially when the kids, so there's like 6-year-old being shouted at, and then there's parents arguing, and just think it's bad for the sport in general, and it's not a good atmosphere for kids, and it might put them off. So I think they should just be allowed to enjoy it.
Yeah. And you know, some of the parents don't even do jiu-jitsu either.
Yeah, I know.
They're just shouting right because I've been at a few kids comps and I've been there. Obviously with maybe some of the guys that we train with, and I used to go and watch Rihanna Parker, Summer, Abby Ray, and things like that as well.
Yeah.
So I used to go watching them quite a bit, and you always seen parents shouting random instructions, and you're thinking they're not even in that position. Yeah. Definitely. So make it obviously a little bit more friendly for the kids. Because as I say, the kids, a lot of kids are enjoying it. You do see kids when they're put under pressure, especially kids so young, and they're coming away crying and stuff like that. And you see it all the time at kids jiu-jitsu competitions.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely make it a little bit more friendly for the kids. And if there was one person jiu-jitsu that you can have the chance to meet in a competition, who would it be?
Andre Galvo. Yeah,
he's a big lump, man. He's a big lump.
Yeah, would be fun.
You need to put on a few extra pounds for Andre Galvo.
Yeah, would be a good experience to roll with him on the mats.
Yeah, definitely. And then what about MMA? If there was a dream fight for you, if there was anybody you could fight in MMA, who would you want to see across the cage from you?
Khabib.
Oh,
all the way to the top.
Khabib, definitely. I mean, Khabib's an animal, good grappler.
Yeah.
But as I say, you've been around. Probably he probably started maybe a little bit younger than you. So yeah, I think by the time you get to definitely, hopefully the UFC, then yeah, we'll hopefully see you smashing people in the UFC the way Khabib's been doing. So maybe that fight one time, because he's I think, what is he? I'm sure he's about 30. So yeah, listen, in maybe 5-10 years, could happen. It could happen, Alex.
Right.
Brilliant. And then anybody you want to kind of shout out to, so any kind of friends, family members, sponsors and stuff like that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so firstly, I know we spoke about my dad. I want to just mention my dad because without him, it obviously wouldn't be possible. All the driving me up and down to training all the time. Yes, he plays a really big part in it. Very supportive as well.
Yeah.
My sponsors as well, Valor Fightwear, supplying me with all the kit. Obviously SBG South Shields and Unorthodox Nutrition for my nutrition plans. So yeah, and anyone else who's involved, and especially Alex Enland, and with all the MMA training, and then finally, last but not least, Marty, because he played a very big part in it, and obviously, like I said, he was like my second dad. So
yeah.
But he wasn't just the coach. He was a friend.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, listen, definitely rest in peace, Marty. As I said, true legend of the game. So, but no, listen, Alex, it was an absolute honour to speak to you, buddy. As I said, listen, I'm going to follow. I'll be with you following your career the whole step of the way. So I'm sure me and you will speak again at some point in the near future. So definitely looking forward to it. And then I'll keep an eye out, obviously, on the 26th of September, you said. So. So Olympus, so hopefully we're going to see you on there. Hopefully everything's all good. But listen, absolute honour again, buddy. A pleasure a pleasure to speak to you, and
Thank
hopefully
you,
we'll
Ian.
see you on the jiu-jitsu mats as well. So hopefully get some competitions in, and hopefully go for that 5th world champion, Alex.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect, buddy. Listen, thank you again, Alex, and you enjoy the rest of your night, okay?
Bye.
Take care, buddy.